Puerto Fiso of IES Valle de Arandaraz. Our school is in Canjaya, in the south of Spain, exactly in Almería, and we are going to show you our experiences in crystallization.
A crystal is a solid material whose constituents are highly ordered in a microscopic structure forming a crystal lattice that extends in all directions. Crystallization is a process with which crystals are formed from the incorporation of the substances that form a fluid. Crystallogenesis is a set of processes that originate the formation of a crystal. Here we have two phases. We made the first experiment with ammonium dihydrogen phosphate, ADP, of the complex. We prepared a saturated solution with 300 grams of ADP and 500 milliliters of distilled water. We heat to boiling and let cool. When the temperature drops to 70 degrees or 343 Kelvin, we introduce it in a plastic container, closed and thermally isolated. This way we make sure that the crystals are formed by a slow fall of the temperature without evaporating of the solvent. We obtain tetragonal prism crystals, shaped with pyramidal tips. But what will happen if we modify the crystallization conditions? We leave the solution in an open breaker without thermal isolation. Due to the evaporation of the solvent at the cooling time, the ions are placed much faster, and instead of doing it on phases, new nucleation points are formed, so we obtain a greater number of crystals with sharp tips and of lower height.
We check that in glass containers the crystals grow on the base. However, in the ceramic containers, they have formed throughout the containers, becoming a cube.
In the second experience, we used ADP of fertilizer. First crystals had not a definitive form, so we thought that it was necessary to purify the sample of the fertilizer using crystallization. We obtained the crystals, we mashed them up and dissolved them again to do a second crystallization, filtering the solutions to remove non-soluble substances. We got better results, but the crystals didn't have the expected shape.
We made the process of purification with solution bigger in post. We let the post with solution, and the next day there were lots of fluorescences everywhere. We deduced that aluminum takes part in the process, so we introduced a piece of aluminum paper while the solution was heating. We noticed the formation of fluorescences on the paper and the dendritic crystals. We prepared for similar solution and we let them crystallize, and we add the different dopant to each one. With dopant ion 3, we get transparent crystals like the first ones.
In our third experiment, we work towards the growth of more crystals. We select some tips of a crystal and we put them into a saturated solution at 35 degrees centigrade, because we have noticed that the crystal get dissolved at higher temperatures. To do that, we have stuck the ends onto tails and we have left them in the solution for a week. We hammed some of them into a saturated solution. We observe its growing when using a colorless solution and an open beaker. We can see how the evaporation is quick on top. A new crystal arrives near the surface.
Our last experiences were to obtain other salts from sodium chloride using saturated solution at 60 degrees centigrade that we had left in the open beaker until the evaporation of almost the cool solvent. We have been writing down all these experiences in our lab notebook, and they are shown on a scientific poster in order to display our research. Our project took part in the contest crystallization at the school in Almería and the final round of Andalusia. We decided to call our project Crystalaxy. With several crystals, we represent the central part of the galaxy. The rest represent the group of stars in the middle of the dark universe.